If you're leaving me, if you think you're leaving me, get ready for battle.
Your persona is Savannah Smith. How did you ever come up with that?
Oh, it all started when I was born. My mom looked at me and she was like, yeah, this is a Savannah.
What projects are you working on?
I'm in a new side project musically called Turn, Turn, Turn. We've got a year under our belts now, but we were planning to release the album in June, which is still happening digitally. I've been doing a lot of leather work, which amped up a ton when everything got shut down because I had just inundated myself with projects.
So once everything kind of opens back up, then do you have any plans to release new projects? Or
we just don't know.
Yeah.
So I think once the opportunity for shows start to arise again, we'll hit the ground running. But as of right now, we're kind of just, we have something tentatively booked for September that I really hope sticks to celebrate the release. But other than that, we're kind of just tiptoeing around.
Yeah.
with your art, are you able to always stay kind of inspired, or are there like ebbs and flows to how you think about it or practice it or, create?
It's been really difficult for me to focus on music. As much as I want to use this as time to write, I don't really have the mental capacity. It's so consumed by the unknowing. And I think for the first part of Shelter in Place, or we have Safer at Home, and I wanted to, be jumping on live streams, and in my mind I had all this hope, I was going to write 1 million new songs, and I couldn't do it. I'd get a guitar in my hands and I would freeze. One thing I've learned that's been very helpful is focusing on covers, or the project with you guys, where I'm putting my creative effort into it, but not in a sense where I'm pressured to write new material or to come up with new lyrics or new songs, because it's honestly too taxing on me.
Musically, who are some of your biggest influences?
I've always been a big fan of Bruce Springsteen and his songwriting, along with Fleetwood Mac and Tom Petty. As I grew a little bit older and started writing songs, the Weaker Thans have always been really lyrically inspiring to me, as well as Friend Rabbit. Those two are kind of the first two I always think about when I think who I want to write songs like.
How did you get into music?
I've always been into music. My parents were very heavy music listeners. Instead of TV, we'd always listen to music. But I remember being tiny in kindergarten and writing songs with my friends, or in middle school I had a girl band, and we didn't play instruments. I mean, I played violin, but that certainly wasn't part of the band, which was called Fantasy, by the way.
Talk a little bit about maybe what you experienced having to self-record, your journey as you figured out kind of how art works for you and your brain works for music, and what you've learned. And
I'll start it out with saying that I actually have an audio engineering degree, but I realized that I do not have what it takes to be an audio engineer. And I'm not saying I don't know how to do it. Like, I can sit down and run a session, sure. But there's, it takes a really special ear and a lot of dedication to the project, the follow through. There's so much that goes into it.
What's your favorite movie?
Mr. Lonely. It's a Harmony Korine movie.
What's your favorite music genre to listen to?
I really love country, old bluegrass. I love Dolly and I love Emmylou, but I also love old, like Hank Williams songs.
Dogs or cats?
Both.
Have you ever broken a bone?
I've broken my foot.
Tacos or hamburgers?
Tacos.
You have a favorite performance memory?
I love, I've been doing a lot of tribute shows in the last year and a half, and I would say the Dolly Parton tribute show, that was one of the top ones for me.
Do you have a scariest performance memory?
I remember my first performance singing and playing alone. I think I was 15 or 16, and I was so like shaky and nervous that I threw up right after.
Do you have a favorite season of the year?
Probably summer, just for the warmth.
Do you have a favorite place on the planet?
My family's cabin up north.
Do you have other artists that you love?
My favorite poet is Rod McEwen. I don't know, does that count as an artist, a poet?
Yeah.
I think so, right? Yeah.
No, poetry's not art.
Sticking by it. Yeah, just words.
Yeah, anybody can write poetry.
Ooh. Anybody can, but should they?
Exactly.
Do you have a go-to album?
I would say lately, Tyler Childers is a more modern country artist, and he's got a record called Purgatory that I go to a lot just because it's so expansive.
Disneyland or Disney World?
I don't think I want to go to either of those places. I don't know the difference, but it sounds like a lot of people.
Do you have goals for your art?
I'm bad at goals. I really am. Starting music, I've exceeded my expectations. You know, I touring when I was 20, so I've always kind of just been going beyond what I thought I could do.
Was there a piece of advice that you were given that helped you?
I guess I've been leaning really heavily, especially the last few weeks, on the folks out there that are like, don't be too hard on yourself right now, especially. And then also, there's a Dolly Parton song, and there's a line in it that says, "I'm just thankful I'm creative with my hands." And I try to think about that every time I feel stuck in a rut. Musically, that I do have different outlets to create.